הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. If you have a shaker, come shake it. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. How good it is.
How good it is.
How sweet it is.
How sweet it is.
To be together on this day. How good it is.
How good it is.
How sweet it is.
How sweet it is.
To be together on this day. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת
have more.
גם יחד.
Oh, that's the challah. He's putting that back.
הנה מה
Thank
טוב
you.
ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. שלום עליכם, סלאם עליכום, שלום עליכם, סלאם עליכום, שלום עליכם, סלאם עליכום, שלום עליכם, salam alaikum. How good it is.
How good it is.
How sweet it is.
How sweet it is.
To be together on this day. How good it is.
How good it is.
How sweet it is.
How sweet it is.
To be together on this day. Sing with us. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad.
That would make too much
Shevet
sense.
achim gam yachad. Shevet achim gam yachad. Shake it out, shake it out. Really well. Woo-hoo.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
I am so happy that it is my favorite night of the week. It is Shabbat. And how good it is and how sweet it is that we get to be together tonight. And I love, by the way, coming together for happy moments and occasions. What's something fun and happy that some of you like to do? Yeah. Play with your friends and dance around. What are fun, like a really fun thing you can go and celebrate with a friend? Yeah. Ski. Hanukkah parties. What other types of parties and stuff do people go to? Yeah. Christmas parties for our friends who aren't Jewish. Those are fun too. I like to also go to birthday parties. Who likes to go to birthday parties? And another thing I love doing too is going to weddings. Who's ever been to a wedding? Weddings are so much fun because you get to see two people who really love each other coming together and celebrating that love, and we all get to watch it and watch a new family being created and then dance and have fun afterwards. And with Shabbat, it's kind of like we get to see a wedding because God and Shabbat love each other so much, and this is the time when they come together and we all get to be guests for that great party. And we have a song called the Hadodi that explains that Shabbat feels just like that. And that's why Friday nights are so much fun. So in your Mishkan Tefillah prayer book, which is this one, if you don't have it, maybe you or a grown-up can go grab some. We are on page 138.
You can shake it out, shake it out. Pnei Shabbat Nekah. We get to dance now. La 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 ya la 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 ya la ya la 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 ya la la ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Sing with us. Likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat, nekabela Hadodi. Likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat, nekabela. Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad. Ishmi anu אלה מיוחד, אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתפילה. Sing! לך דודי, לי קראת כלם, פני שבת, נקבלה. לך
דודי, לי קראת כלם,
פני שבת, נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה. סוף המעשה במחשבת תפילה. סינג לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, אורי, שיר לברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. היי לך דודי, sing with us, לקראת כלם, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
We rise and greet the Shabbat bride as she enters our room, turning that way.
בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, היי לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. יא לה 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 לה, 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 יא לה 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 לה.
Well, this time we are going to light our Shabbat candles. I'd love to invite all of our students, any kids who are here, to come on up, because really you help bring light to our community. So any kids, come on up if you could help me light the Shabbat candles. Okay. Ready? Oh, I don't know, but I'll do this part. So, great question. These candles represent how we're supposed to remember Shabbat, but also follow Shabbat. And so we have two candles to remind us of those two things. But also, I think it's a good reminder that on Shabbat, we get to bring light into the world, and that we can make our world a brighter place. Let me try one more time. Don't blow it. Okay, that's okay. Okay, let's cover our eyes. Can you cover your eyes? Thanks. You okay?
אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת.
Okay, thank you. You guys can go. We are going to turn now to page 148. Oh, sorry, I skipped a page. 146. And we're going to stand and rise for the Baruch Hu.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed Le'olam Va'ed Yalai lai lai 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 Yalai lai lai.
You may be seated. We turn now, I'm going to go 150.
Go for it.
We are going to turn to page 150, and we're going to sing about how much God loves all of us. Ahavat Olam.
Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Avita Amcha Avita Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Otanu limadeta Akein Adonai Eloheinu v'shochavenu Kumeinu na'asiyah b'chukecha V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha U'b'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed Ki hem hayeinu Ve'orech yameinu U'vahem negei yomam v'layla Negei yomam v'layla V'yahavata tasir Mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev amo Yisrael Ohev amo Yisrael.
Page 152.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch She'ivod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Page 154.
V'yahavta et Adonai Elohecha B'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha V'hayu advarim ha'ele Asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha V'shinantam levanecha V'dibarta bam V'shivtecha b'beitecha U'b'lektecha b'derech U'b'shoktecha u'fkumecha U'kshartam le'ot al yadecha V'hayu letotafot bein einecha U'ktabtam המזוזות ביתך ולבישת תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
We are in right now in the Torah, a really exciting part, because it's all about how the Jewish people used to be slaves in Egypt. That was not very fun. That was really bad, actually. But one day, God decided to help free us, and we got to be who we knew that we were. Everybody should get to live what we call their authentic selves, to be themselves. I hope every kid here knows that, and every kid in Utah, especially today, remembers that. And anyhow, and by the way, come next week, because we are going to have a ton of music. Because once they got across the sea that was separating Egypt from their freedom, they started to dance and sing with joy. And they sing this song we're about to sing. We read about that in the Torah next week. So we're going to have a big party here on Friday night with a lot of music that I hope you come to. But I hope that we can remember that every person in the world should be free to live, to achieve their biggest potential and have all of their dreams come true, no matter who they are or what they look like or who they love. We need to make sure that everybody is treated fairly. Page 158, Mi Chamocha, where we sing about the God who created all of us in such beautiful and unique ways. If you want to shake your shakers too, you are more than welcome.
And the women dancing with their timbrel followed Miriam as she sang a song. Sing a
And you can
song
follow the
to
cantor
one
too.
and follow me. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. Miriam was a weaver of unique variety.
Grown-ups can follow too.
The tapestry she wove was one that sang our history. With every strand and every thread she crafted her delight. A woman touched with spirit, she danced toward the light. And the women dancing with their timbrel followed Miriam as she sang a song. Sing a song to the one that we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. When Miriam the prophet took her timbrel in her hand, and all the women followed her just as she had planned. And Miriam raised her voice in song, she sang with praise and might. We've just slipped through a miracle, we're gonna dance tonight. And the women dancing with their timbrel followed Miriam as she sang a song. Sing a song, the one that we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced the whole night long. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nehedar v'kodesh, nora tehilot osei vele, nora tehilot osei vele. מלכותך ראו בניך, חוקי הים לפני משה ומרים. זה אלי אנו ויאמרו, אי זה אלי אנו ואמרו. אדוני יהי מלוך לעולם לעולם ועד. אדוני יהי מלוך and the women dance and dance the whole night long.
When I was a kid, sometimes at night, I would get a little bit scared laying in bed. I don't know if any of you ever feel that way. But I lived in this very old house. And very old big houses sometimes make scary noises at night, or they have a furnace that heats up in the middle of the night and makes a scary noise. And every night, though, before I would go to bed, I would say a special Jewish prayer when I would get scared, where I would ask God to keep me safe tonight so that when I go to sleep, I'll be safe, and when I wake up tomorrow, I'll be safe too. And that always made me feel better, to know that I was not alone, and that those things that seemed scary, I was probably going to be okay, because God was there watching over me. And we have a whole prayer that is just about that. It's called the Hashkivenu. And on page 161, I'll do a reading for that. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety. And in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem, which I know had a very difficult day today in Jerusalem, thinking about people there and asking God to keep them safe, and over yours.
Baruch atah Adonai, haporeh sukkot shalom aleinu. Haporeh sukkot shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim.
We turn now to page 164, and we're going to ask God to give us the ability to open our lips, to open our mouths, so that we can say just how great God is. Page 164, you can stand for this prayer too. Please rise.
Adonai sefatai tivta v'fi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Yalalai, lai, lai, 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 yalalai, lai.
I want to invite you to either you can continue reading on your own between pages 166 and 180, or if you want to, you can I like to take this moment to say my own prayer to God and to think about what I'm asking God for, or often what I'm thanking God for too, and what I'm grateful for in my life. And when you're finished, you can be seated.
עושה שלום במרומה, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומה, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומה, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
One of the things I always pray for is I think about the people I love and care about who are going through something difficult. Maybe their body is broken or sick. Maybe their mind isn't as healthy and they're not feeling very good with the things that they're thinking. Or sometimes, too, people can just be sad, and that's something I think we all experience. And I feel badly for people who are sad, and I want them to feel better. And I know there are also people out there who are doing better because they're on the path to recovery, and they are moving in the right direction, but they're not quite where they want to be just yet. And so I'm really grateful that we have a prayer in Judaism where we take time to ask God to help all these people in their journey to being in a better place, whatever that looks like. And in your Shabbat pamphlet here, you can find the prayer we're going to sing tonight on page 14 towards the back.
Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. Mishverach imoteinu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, Berachem. May the one who blessed our fathers, may the one who blessed our mothers, hear our prayer,
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 hear our prayer.
and bless us as men.
This week, I know we're thinking about these members of our community who could use a prayer for healing. Gita Leah bat Masha Hana, Haim Yosef ben Shana Libby, David ben Sarah Leah, Haravi Hudaleh ben Dina, Miriam bat Chesed, Myron Yisrael ben Rachel, Daniel Meir ben Chaya Etia, Michael Cohen, Ginny Cohen, Kathy Collins, David Dowsett, Yitzhak Figilski, Kimberly Jacobson, Tanner Light, Megan Magleby, Shari Pedersen, Andrea Sanders, Marshall Sanders, Greg Saunders, Josh Shapiro, Penny Spector, Adina Stern, Annalie Wilkerson, and Judy Wolf. And if anybody else has a name, too, to share, when I look in your direction, you can share with our community. And if you are watching on our live stream, thanks for joining us. I'll invite you to share a name too.
Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with the power of your hope. May our hearts be filled with understanding and strengthened by the power of your love. Mishaberach Avoteinu, Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. Mishaberach Imoteinu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, Rachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer.
Hear our prayer.
Hear our our prayer.
Hear our prayer.
Hear our prayer.
Hear our prayer.
Hear our prayer. And bless us as well.
I would like to tell you, Shabbat Shalom, by the way, again.
Shabbat Shalom.
I want to tell you about something really exciting that's happened in my life lately. I mean, there's a lot of exciting things happening in my life right now. My wife is, like, any day now going to give birth to a new baby, and I'm really excited about that. But something else really exciting that recently happened to me. As a rabbi, I, every week, am going to different things, like different charity things, different performances. During the month of December, everybody's throwing holiday parties. And so I'm going to the University of Utah President's holiday party. I'm going to this holiday party, that holiday party. Hello. And I noticed that all of the charity functions and all the parties I would go to, I kept seeing the same man over and over and over again. And I didn't know who he was. So I decided to go up to him and say, "Excuse me, I see you at everything I'm at." And he said, "That's funny, I see you at everything I'm at." And I was like, it kind of seems like we like a lot of the same things. Maybe we should get lunch sometime and get to know each other. He said, "I'd like that." So we set up a 1-hour lunch together and went out to lunch. And guess what? That lunch lasted 3.5 hours. And we became great friends right away. And my new friend, has since then called me when he's going to something fun. And he said, "Will you come with me? I want to introduce you to my other friends." And I've become friends with some of those people. And he invited me to join the board of a charity that he's passionate about. That's something I like too. And he's also the president of this social group here in Salt Lake City. And he said to me, "Rabbi Sam, I think it would be really cool if you joined our club." And his friends agreed with him. And he is helping me become a member of this club. And so I was talking to my wife the other night about this new friend, and I said, "Oh, not only that, he also has heard about the great work of our synagogue, and he's like, I want to introduce you to people who can help your synagogue and make it better." And so I was talking to my wife the other night, and I was talking about how wonderful of a friend this person is, and how much my life is better in such a short period of time because I have this new friend in my life. And how glad I was that I had the courage to go up to somebody I didn't know and introduce myself. But there's something else I think about with my friend. My friend and I, we don't look alike. And that's because my friend is African American, and he has black skin. And my mom grew up in a time and a place where she went to a school that was only for kids who looked like her. You had to have white skin to go to that school. And that was what she was raised with until she was about 10 years old. And I thought about that, how maybe if I lived in a different time, I would have never gotten the opportunity to become friends with this person who's made my life so much better. Because of the way he looks, or maybe because I'm different than most people because I'm Jewish, we wouldn't have been allowed to go to those things where we met each other. And that would have been a real shame. And so I thought about the people who maybe look like me, and the people who look like my friend, who maybe never got the opportunity to become friends and make each other's lives better because they lived in a time when there was more discrimination. And that made me sad for what those people missed out on. And during that time, too, we also saw other things affect our country, like violence. Violence against people who had dark skin because they looked differently, and sometimes violence committed by people with darker skin against people with lighter skin because they were frustrated and upset by the way they were being treated. And how all that came because people couldn't accept differences. There's a million more examples like that. Did you know that women were not even allowed to vote until 1920? And I think about that too. Earlier today, I got to have a great meeting with my friend who's the lieutenant governor of our state, and she's a woman. And I think personally, without getting into politics, I think she's a very good person, and I think she has a lot of good leadership traits to her. And I'm grateful for her service. Same with my friend who is the female mayor of our city. And I think about how much better our country probably would be today had we not excluded women for 150 years from being in positions like that. Like, maybe we robbed ourselves by not giving women a chance. My friend, the cantor, is an amazing cantor. I'm sure you agree with me. But women were not allowed to be rabbis or cantors until, like, Jews have been around for 4,000 years. That's only something very new that we allow women to do. And perhaps we as Jewish people could have learned a lot more had we been more inclusive earlier. Now, this week in the Torah, what we're reading about is the plagues on Egypt. Have you heard about the plagues on Egypt? Maybe some of you have heard about that at your Passover Seders. Like how there were frogs that fell from the sky, how everything went dark, how there were bugs everywhere, and how the water in the Nile was turned from water into blood and was all gross. Now, who was doing all these plagues? What was that? I didn't hear. Oh, good. Who was doing all these plagues? Who was making the frogs from? Yeah, God. God was creating these plagues. Why was God creating plagues on Egypt? Yes, future rabbi here. Yeah, the Egyptian Pharaoh was discriminating against Jewish people and making them be slaves, and this was his punishment. So we had all these different plagues on Egypt, and we talk about 10 plagues, and those are the 10 plagues that God created. But really, all of those plagues came because of one giant plague that the Pharaoh was doing. And that was discriminating against people because they were different. And had he not done that, boy, probably the Jewish people really could have helped Egypt and made Egypt a better place. Because Jewish people are smart, they're caring, they're kind, and they want to help the places they live. But also, the Egyptians could have gotten more friends. And also, they never would have experienced those plagues. So, I think what we learn from this week's Torah portion is that when we discriminate against people because of how they look, who they love, who they are, what they believe in, that's going to cause a whole bunch of problems for wherever we live. And we're also going to miss out on a lot of great things as individuals. And all that can be prevented if we treat people the way that we want to be treated, and we aren't mean to people just because they're different. Thanks for listening. Shabbat Shalom. I am so grateful you all are here, and I want to thank our volunteers who helped make dinner. I see several of our staff here this evening. Cantor, thank you for always beautifully leading alongside of us. Do we have Salt Lake City Police Department here tonight? I think maybe. Do we? Maybe. If they are, we're grateful that they're here. They always do a wonderful job keeping us safe. And also, I want to thank our staff who I see here tonight, our religious school director, Tamara Kipper, and our office and membership director, Elisa Kaufman. Husband's here as well. Great to see you. I see our religious school director, assistant director, Tracy Plotkin. And I want to give a special recognition, of course, always to our wonderful communications director, that lady sitting right back there, Lana Stoddard. Thank you for all you do. And with that, I also want to acknowledge that we happen to have the president of our board of trustees here, Mr. President John Mertens. And John, if you could please tell us about the exciting things we have coming up at Colamy in the next couple weeks, I'd greatly appreciate that.
All right, thank you, Rabbi.
And welcome to the first family who's here this evening as well.
You're getting awfully formal for what the position is, but thank you. Thank you, Rabbi Spector and Cantor Brown-Levy, for teaching and leading us tonight. Also, a very special Todah Rabbah to all of you who contributed to our high holiday appeal. Because of you, we exceeded our goal. That allows us to do so many wonderful things here. And it also makes our president look good, even though he had almost nothing to do with it. So, that's a lesson for the kids. Next Friday night at 5:30 p.m. is our 30-minute Tot Shabbat service for young children and their families. And then please join us at 6:30 p.m. for Shabbat Shirah. Come enjoy vibrant music, including a choir of 20 cellists, our own Colamy band and choir, and duets with Cantor Brown-Levy and Cantor Lowe. Following the service, we will have dinner at the shul. Please don't forget to RSVP so we know how much to cook. Next Sunday, February 5th, we have a full day of great events. We hope you'll join. At 9:30 a.m., please join us for a special Sunday schmooze for Deborah Birdwell-Winkler's book launch of Cycle of Coincidence. Then from noon to 2, children and their families are invited to a camp fair in the social hall to visit with several Jewish camps throughout the United States. Do you know that Colamy has a camp scholarship program for those in need and for first-time camps? Contact Tamara Kipper for more information. Everyone is invited to join us at 5:30 p.m. next Sunday for a Tu B'Shabbat community theater for all ages as we celebrate the new year for the tree. Please make sure to RSVP in advance. We need volunteers. Join the cast of Schmaltz. Can't put on a performance spiel called Grease, can we? It will be Schmaltz. Contact the Cantor for details if you would like to participate. We need help baking Hamantaschen for Purim. Please reach out to Galit Levine or Tamara Kipper. Your name comes up a lot. For more information. And if you can help in the office on Mondays or Fridays, or help with Kiddushim on Saturday morning, please contact Lisa Kaufman, also here. Don't forget to save the date for our 50th anniversary gala on Sunday, May 7th. It's at This Is the Place Heritage Park. We're looking for photographs, newspaper clippings, and other memorabilia to digitize and preserve. If you have any items you'd like to share, please send them to Galit Levine, Program and Engagement Coordinator. As always, we thank our volunteers, donors, members, and guests for your participation and support. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you so much, John. Appreciate you and your leadership in our community. And we are going to move into the concluding part of our service. I'd love to invite any kids to come on back up here who would like to, and you can help us open the ark. Any kids want to come help open the ark? Love to have you.
Come on up.
All right, here we go. Fantastic. Some of you are coming. No obligation, but you are welcome to. Come on up. Hello. And come on up. Come on up.
Slowly.
Okay, don't pull too hard. Pull lightly.
Pull lightly.
Pull gently. Okay.
Pull
And
up.
I'll invite people to please rise. We are at the bottom of page 586.
Avinu ושווה הכל לעתיד גידולה יוצר בראשית שלא עשנו כגויי הרצון ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה שלא שם חלקנו כהם יגור עלינו ככל המנה ואנחנו קוראים בג'וניס ומשתחווים עמודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Okay, you can go ahead and close the doors. Thanks. Can you close the doors? Theo, can you?
Good
job. Good job.
Thanks,
You may be seated. At this time, we think of those whom death has recently taken from us, and those who have died in this season in years past, and those who we remember and bring into our hearts with us wherever we go. If you hear the name of somebody you love and care about, you can rise upon hearing that name. In the period of Shloshim, the 30-day period of mourning, we remember our congregants, Malcolm Lamson and Shayna Lamson. And this week, we remember these loved ones whose yortzites, anniversaries of their passing, fall in our Hebrew calendar. David Alder, William Bill Bard, Sylvia Sybil Cohen, Sonia Siegel Coney, Celia Dolfano, Esther Ellman, Morris Gus, Abraham Hochberg, Dee Hoffman, Shirley Cronenberg, Rose Levin, Ethel Mann, David Mednick, Grant Mitchell, Rachel Ann Virat Navarro, Eric Newmark, Mike Olliner, Nellie Armbruster Palmer, Jerry Paul, Simon Rosenblatt, Francis Sapitsky, Boris Sasonkin, David Siegel, Marilyn Silverman, Chaim Starodubsky, Rosa Sturura, Amy Vernon, Lauren Woodbury, and Rostel B. Woolner. And if you have a name to add, I'll invite you to rise, and when I look in your direction, to share with our community. John Gregg. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. If you are in mourning, or it is your tradition to do so, you're welcome to stand. Our Kaddish prayer is on page 598. Yikadav v'yikadash shemei rabah, be'alma tivrach yirteh v'yimlich malchuteh, b'chayechon u'v'yamechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabah mivarach le'olam olmei olmayab, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, shemei dekudishah, b'rehu, le'elam in kol birchata v'shirata, Tishbechata v'nechamata da'amiram be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav v'yasei shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. A source of peace and peace to all who are mourning. Comfort the bereaved among us. Let's say amen. How about we sing a song with those words we just ended with, which is all about God making peace in the world, and how I think we can be partners with God in this work in making our world a more peaceful place.
You can shake a shaker. I know you know this version. עושה שלום עם רמה, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
Please rise for Kiddush as we say the blessing over our grape juice.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפן.
Amen.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצבנו, בשבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה בראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר יציאת מצרים. הבנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מקומים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
Amen. L'chaim. And we are going to now also, we have this delicious challah made by my friend Moshe, who makes challah for us every single week. So we are going to unwrap that and then say a blessing. If you want some, you're welcome to come grab some after we bless it. We give thanks to God for bread.
Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz v'te'avot.
Okay, pull.
Don't forget to return your...
All right, 5-second roll, it's fine. It's how they build their immune systems. Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Please return your shakers. Thank you. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, could you get them? Shabbat, Shabbat, Shabbat. Could you take this around to the people? Thank you. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat. Shabbat, Shabbat, shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat. Shabbat, Shabbat, shalom. Shabbat, shalom. Shabbat, shalom. Shabbat, 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 shalom. I gave it to Ruby.